Why is it that women can be the most qualified person in the room, the best prepared, the most experienced, the one who did all the work, and still they have to fight harder than anyone else at the table just to be heard? I've spent over a decade in finance asking myself that question, and the answer was not what I actually expected. I built my career in one of the most male-dominated environments that exist. Boardrooms where I was routinely the only woman. Deal tables where my ideas credited to someone else. Rooms where I had to learn fast that capability alone was not enough. What separated the women who commanded those rooms from the ones who were tolerated in them was not intelligence. It was not even confidence in the way most people describe it. It was reinvention, deliberate practice, intentional reinvention of how they showed up. There are 3 shifts that changed everything for me, and every woman I've watched go from being present in a room to commanding it. If you are ambitious, capable, and still feel like you are performing to a standard that was never designed for you, stay with me. Earlier in my career, I walked into rooms and I took the temperature first. Scanned who was there, decided how much space I was allowed based on the energy I was reading, which meant on the hard days, after a deal that had not gone well, in a room full of people who had already decided what I was, I would shrink. Not because of lack of capability, but because I made showing up conditional on the room giving them permission first. The reinvention happened the day I decided I was no longer waiting for permission. Not loudly, not aggressively, a decision made before I walked in. The same way I would prepare a pitch or strategy in advance on my own terms. Have you decided how you show up, or are you still deciding once you're in that room? Because if you are still deciding in the room already has a head start on the narrative about you. Deciding in advance is the foundation, but here is what most women miss. Even the ones who have made that decision, they change how they show up without understanding what they are actually changing, and then wonder why it doesn't stick. The second shift took me longer to understand, and it was the one I wish someone had told me in my first year. When women try to command rooms differently, they tend to remove things. The qualifier at the end of the sentence, the habit of softening a direct statement, the instinct to defer, they remove it. And research from Catalyst found that women in male-dominated industries who adopt more direct communication styles are frequently penalised socially for the same behaviours that earn men authority. The double bind is real and documented. But too soft, and you are not taken seriously. Be too direct, and you are too much. Those habits are not weakness. They are rational responses to an irrational environment. I spent a long time trying to move the tendency to over-explain. In finance, over-explaining breeds uncertainty. I knew that. I tried to stop it, and I kept doing it. It was only when I understood why I was doing it that I was managing the fear of being dismissed, preemptively giving people the information they would not need to misread me. That I could actually replace it. The replacement was not removing the impulse. It was building enough trust in my own authority that that impulse stopped making sense. Ask yourself, what is the self-limiting habit actually doing for you? Is it managing the fear of being too much? Managing the risk of being dismissed? The answer to that question tells you exactly what you need to build. Not remove, but build. In finance, perception is slow and stubborn. Rooms that have decided what you are take a long time to update. I learned the hard way that measuring my presence by the immediate response of a room that had a 10-year head start on its opinion of me was never going to work. The measurement that actually moved things was simple. Did I show up the way I decided to today? Not did the room confirm it. Did I do it? That was the only variable I could control, and it was the only one that compounded. One question at the end of each day, I asked myself, did I show up the way I decided to? Not the outcome, not the response, the behavior. Track that, give it time, the room will catch up. The women who command rooms in the industry that were not built for them are not superhuman. They did not find some version of confidence that the rest of us do not have access to. They made a decision about who walks through those doors, and they stopped renegotiating it every time the room made it hard. Deloitte research shows that women who report a strong sense of their own professional identity independent of external validation are 2.4 times more likely to be seen as senior leader material by their peers. Not because they performed better, but because they stopped performing entirely and started showing up. That is what reinvention actually is. Not a reaction to difficulty, a declaration of what comes next. I built something for women who are ready to make that declaration. More soon.